5, it's the 5 Hours for Life televent to benefit the Leukemia Society of America with your hosts, Andrea Hall and Mike Dowling.
Welcome back, everybody, to the New England portion of our Leukemia televent. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Andrea Hall with Mike Dowling.
And we are having a great time. Tremendous volunteers behind us. The phones aren't ringing, though.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let's hear it for the volunteers.
You guys are hanging in there. You're so great.
But let's get the phones ringing here. I mean, what else are you doing on this rainy Sunday afternoon? There
Thank
they
you.
are.
Somebody,
Okay,
somebody's mother probably just called us, you know.
Probably mine. Well, I'll tell you what, since we just came back, let's take a look at the tote board and see if we have an update now from the 19,000 we had last hour.
All right, let's see. All right.
All right.
$20,914. I was getting excited. I was going to say $209,000. I went, well, that would be a big jump.
Well, that's good, but we can do a lot better than that.
Exactly.
Now, when we talk about how children with leukemia in 1992 have an 80% chance of surviving, compared to an appalling 4% survival rate back in 1960, we recognize how leukemia research has made the difference between life and death for many children. Even so, parents who learn their child has leukemia may suffer the fear that their child might be among the 20% who die. Five-year-old Jewel is healthy now. She doesn't remember the age of 21 months when she started 2 years of chemotherapy for acute lymphocytic leukemia, or ALL. But her father, columnist Della Valle of the Worcester Telegram Gazette, remembers when most children with leukemia were doomed.
And when I was a child, I had a boy on my baseball team that got leukemia, and I don't think there was ever any question that he would die from it. That was 30 years ago.
If Jewel was born then, she would probably have been among the 96% of children with ALL who died. But in the last 3 decades, Leukemia Society-funded research has led to a dramatic rise in the cure rate.
Oh, thank you.
When the doctor says, well, 80% of the kids that get leukemia are cured or never relapse, it's still hard to imagine that you're always worried that you're going to be in the 20%.
Despite the progress in curing children with leukemia, the treatments remain grueling for both parent and child, as Jewel's mother, Joanne, remembers.
I felt like I had to oversee every single thing that was done. That was really very stressful, difficult.
Even the treatment itself is so harsh that you're worried that the treatment would kill her. I mean, the chemotherapy has to be strong enough to kill the cancer cells without killing the child, so it's a very fine balance.
Every 18 weeks they had to check her bone marrow and make sure that there were no leukemia cells there.
Myself and a nurse would have to hold her down and she'd fight, and she actually broke blood vessels in her face one time. She was fighting us so hard because it was really painful.
Jewel has not shown signs of leukemia for 4 years, and her chances for a healthy life continue to rise as every year passes without a relapse. The last 30 years of research have saved lives like Jewel's, but what about the next 30 years? What if doctors did understand the mystery of what causes leukemia, why it strikes one person and not another, or why 80% of children with ALL survive and 20% do not?
We need to get from 80% to 100% cure rate, and the only way to do that is by more research, and research takes more money.
When your child has it, you want it to be solved. You want the mystery to be solved.
And with us right now is Jewel's lovely family, the Della Valle family, and we have her dad, Paul, her mother, Joanne, her sister, Lisa, and her brother, Rocky, and, of course, little Jewel's here with us as well. Paul, tell me, when Jewel was first diagnosed with leukemia, it was very sudden. It seemed like she was climbing the furniture one day, and the next she was at the doctor's office. Tell me what happened.
She had chicken pox, and instead of rapidly going away, it got worse and worse. And the pediatrician told my wife that she should go to the hospital, and that's when we found out.
Joanne, if Jewel had been born just a few decades before, what do you think might have happened to her then?
I don't think that she would have survived. It's only because of the research in the past 10 years that she's where she is today.
Yeah. And it looks like she's doing just fine. I mean, she's a healthy, bright And active, she keeps moving her legs back and forth here, back and forth. Active young lady. Can I sit like you? Okay, I'll cross my legs. Rocky, your dad took you for a drive, and that's the first time he told you about Jewel, right? And that she had to have a perfect match for her bone marrow donor. What happened?
Well, when he told me, I was kind of nervous because if I had to give my bone marrow to her, I would have probably been nervous before the operation, but knowing that it would make her better would make me feel good.
As it was, she didn't need to get a bone marrow.
She hasn't needed to do that.
Thank God.
And in some cases they do.
Yeah. So, Jewel, I'm going to ask you a little question here. First of all, how you feeling?
Good.
That's great. Now, I had asked you earlier, I heard something in your tummy. Were those Cheerios in there? No? Okay. How about this? You repeat for me. 455-1000. Say that.
451,000.
That's right. 455-1000 is the number. Please call. It makes every difference between life and death. Thank you very much, the Della Valle family, and we'll go right back to Mike Dowling.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. And joining me now, Paul Casey, a guy who never met a camera.